Well, here we are. I'm gonna be talking about the Pilgrims. Yay! Again. And again. This is the third time, apparently. And last time I did it was just 2 months ago, so why am I doing it again? Because, hey, it's the Pilgrims, and I kinda enjoyed talking about them. Pilgrims. The people who are supposedly the people who settled in America for the English. And then became the Americans, and blah 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 blah. Well, there you are. If you remember from a previous episode, you're going to need to know this before you get to the Pilgrims. You have to know about Martin Luther. This Martin Luther. Or if you don't want to just go ahead and search around it, I'll just show you where how to search for mine. Well, Martin Luther King Jr., Martin Luther King Jr., Martin Luther King Jr., so many Martin Luther King Jr. Whatever, I actually highly suggest this one. And so the not Martin Luther King Jr., he basically put on those 92 cc's onto a big door bulletin board, as it's supposed to be called, and that basically everything went downhill from there. Basically, that 92 cc's basically called Catholicism to be a little impure, so it had all those red stains on it, and then just like what it aimed to do is like destroy those red stains. Careful. To be very pure. It's basically the first annunciation and the first talking about Puritanism, but the aim was just to purify it. It didn't actually mean to do this. It didn't mean to do this. Where like half of them were like, "Hey, you know what? We're just gonna fix our mess, and then we're gonna be pure." Eh? Like that. Where one was pure and one was impure. Basically, Catholicism. And how did this basically start out? It basically started out with this guy, King Henry the Eighth. Personally, I like to call him Henry the V. Henry the V. Henry the we. Da 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 da. All he did is basically do a little copy paste from the Catholic Church, and then did a little, how should I put it, editing, and gave it a little new name, and then he just basically left it off there and like, hey, I'm gonna live like this, just because he just wanted a divorce from his wife, which please do not do. Please don't divorce your wife, especially if you have kids. It's gonna be harder for them. However, they weren't exactly Puritists. They were more Protestants, which actually fell into those two parts, one who were just regular Protestants and one who were basically the fun killers. However, these Puritist parts, they're basically saying this. The Christian or Catholic practices, if it's not in the Bible, then it's not real. Well, basically they say that, and that is split into two off sections. The ones who were very, who just wanted everyone to change, and the other ones, these guys are the real fun killers. They're basically the ones who are the Pilgrims, separatists. They're the separatists. Who thought, these guys are too corrupt. Let's just go away from them and make our own. And of course, that was definitely not popular at all. So they had heavy persecution. And in fact, basically, it was basically made illegal. So all of them were put in jail. And once they got out, they're like, we gotta get out of here. And so they were like, let's go to Holland. And they're like, yay, we're in Holland. But then they realized, wait, it's illegal to go to a foreign place without the king's permission? This is so lame, people. That happens. And then they're like, yay, woohoo, let's go there legally. They did. And then they went onto like a secluded place. And they're all like, hey, we're going to pick up the women and the kids. And then basically the frizz came, the police. Woo, woo, woo. And they had to leave them for a while, and then they basically all arrived in Holland. Beam, 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 beam. And later, the girls and the children arrived. Now, you might have expected them to go to America already, but that's a whole different story, because right now, we're talking about the Pilgrims. Yes, they're going to America, but for now, they're in Holland. So this is what they did. Basically, they're like, yay, we're living good. And then they realized something. Okay. Gong, 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 Okay, people, I know there are a few complications. Complications? You call this a complication? I can barely find a job to feed my family. I feel like I'm being less British. I feel like I'm talking less with a British accent. I really want to talk like this again. Hello, are you going to do this again? Well, my gosh, I lost my British accent. It would be nice not having Dutch ovens. And what about the kids? They're becoming so Dutch I can hardly recognize them.
Ik wil of woon niet bij mijn ouders. Ik wil vrijheid van denken, oftewel volledige vrijheid van denken.
I have no idea what he said and I really don't care.
Jullie zouden idioten moeten zijn. Stil. Hou je mond.
Whatever, let's just go back to England. I mean, how bad can it be? Oh yeah. This bad. So this attempt was a gigantic failure, and so people like the leaders like John Carver and William Bradford are all like, hey, what are we gonna do now? So they decided they'd go to the Virginia Company and settle somewhere around here. This time they did go to the king for permission, and he said, yes, but you don't get the charter. The London Company does. Why? Because you gotta realize, you've got no money currently, you're broke. Yeah, that's true. And so they secured the Mayflower and the Speedwell to carry across 37 separatists, 65 random stranger colonists, or RSCs as I call them, and a bunch of chickens. The Speedwell sunk just a few minutes after they left. They repaired it. It went up again, and it sunk again. This time, they let it go. They just evacuated the people on it. And they only used the Mayflower. Yay. And so this is what happened. So they were along here, somewhere here. And then they ended up with going straight into a storm full of lightning, boom, boom. And then they had to fix a mast, and then they eventually realized they somehow ended up all the way here. Here. Such a long way from their intended destination. And so they're like thinking, hey, so we're not here, we're not where we're supposed to be anymore. So does that mean the charter that we've been given is legitimate? Do we have to make our own rules? What rules are we supposed to abide by? I mean, we expected to abide by the Virginia Company rules, the London Company rules, but now that we're not there, what are we supposed to do? And of course, they arrived in winter, which is a bad idea. And so, beep, 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 beep. Let me just draw a bunch of kids. And so, of course, half of them died. Reminds me of Thanos, to be honest. Guys? And then the Native Americans came, and they're all like, hey, looks like you need some help. You do need help, right? Yes. What's the catch? You use those fancy little, very fast arrow shooting bows that don't look like bows. We call them guns. Whatever, you use those gums, and then you go ahead and start splattering, and start killing our enemies, and then we'll teach you how to grow your own food and survive in this colony. Deal? Deal. Okay, so this is how you make corn. This is how you grow corn. Just put in corn seeds, and also put in a dead fish, because the dead fish will give the nutrients so that the seed will grow. Because the soil around here, it's garbage, so you need to put in a dead fish with it. Won't that just make the corn taste like dead fish? No! But we aren't growing dead fish. Well, good, because you can't grow dead fish, idiots. Who the hell are you? I'm Squanto. I was kidnapped by English people like you that are similar to you, and then I was freed and I came back here, and everyone in this village that you're living in right now were all dead of some sort of plague or something. So whatever you do, squash beans or whatever, just put it with a dead fish. Because, as I said, the soil here around is crap. Wouldn't that just make the fish tasted like corn? You're not eating the fish! And then they had a massive Thanksgiving. And the Massasoit tribe, that's just the name of the leader, was not invited. But then they heard gunshots and they're like, wait, what is happening? Are they kill our enemies here? And they look and they're like, oh, they're just celebrating. Yay, let's just join them. With 90 or so with his men, and then they entered, and then they ate together at Thanksgiving. Uninvited guests, but then they were allowed on the guest list. And that That's pretty much all there is about pilgrims. And may this peace last. So let me get this straight. You put in a corn in the soil with a dead fish because the soil here is garbage. Yes, you finally got it. And then right after the corn is grown up, you go ahead and eat the corn that tastes like dead fish, and then you can eat the dead fish that tastes like corn. Where the heck did that come from? I don't like fish. What? Subscribe.